Welcome back to NHB Retro, and this will be part 3 of my series on reviving, refurbishing an IBM PC, the model 5150. And in this episode, I'd like to take a look at the drives that came with it, both of which you see here. Now, these are both, as I discussed in one of the previous parts, these are both Tandon TM100-2 drives. I think one of them is a -2 and one of them is a -2A. As you can see, one of them is IBM branded, has the actual IBM faceplate. The other one does not. That's just an OEM thing. They're basically the exact same drive. I am thinking about obtaining a second drive with the IBM faceplate just for completeness, depending on how things turn out. And I'm noticing on this one that the faceplate is a little bit misaligned. It's making the two drives sit kind of differently, but we'll address that when we get to it. The first thing I want to do with these drives is just a quick service of the drives, very basic stuff. I want to remove the controller board, clean the heads, and grease the rails if that's, which is just the normal required stuff. I'm noticing this one, you can see the controller board is up a little bit. It's supposed to be under these brackets back here. So anyway, some things to adjust. The cleaning and servicing of the drives will largely be identical since they are essentially the same drive. I will concentrate on one, and then if the other one, if anything unique pops up in the other one, I'll bring you back for that one. But for now, let's get down to just looking at one drive. I think I'm going to look at this one first since this incorrectly installed controller board is bothering me, and we'll get going on that one. All right, here's that drive. I think the easiest way for me to do this is going to be just to pull these connectors off, leave these connectors on there, and we'll just sort of flip the board up. So let's get going on that. As per usual, these connectors probably haven't been off here for a very long time. Once I go to reconnect these, I will get some deoxit in there. Kind of a trend with this particular computer that a lot of the fasteners and things seem to have been taken out and then not necessarily put back in with a lot of care. Like, these screws are pretty loose. This drive board should be underneath that bracket. It just seems like a lot of things were taken apart and evaluated and then put back together kind of hastily, which I hope does not bode poorly for the, whether or not anything on here works. Okay, so we've got the two screws out, we've got the cables disconnected. Let's just see. So just for, okay, yeah, that's really easy to do. Okay. Yeah, pretty dusty in here. Let me get the air compressor turned on. It's very loud, so I'll let it build up some pressure, and then I'll blow this out a bit. All right, we're just gonna blow this out a little bit with some air. This could be loud, so. Definitely a few dust bunnies in there. I just want to get the really loose stuff out for now. As with a lot of the other pieces of this computer that are dusty. A lot of it seems to be very stubbornly adhered. So I'm just kind of hitting it with a little bit of the anti-static brush to kind of hopefully loosen up some of that that's on there. More air. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's see here. Hopefully this should move freely, I believe. Okay, it does. All right, I've got just a little bit of white lithium grease here and a Q-tip. I'm just going to put some of this directly onto the rails. I think a little bit of this goes a long way. You don't want it to kind of gunk up or anything. They look clean, they look very dry. I'm just going to move it back to the areas I didn't get. Being careful not to put any of this or any other lubricant on the actual heads, read-write heads. Okay, so that's it for the lubrication. And I'm just gonna, this is a single-sided drive, so there's only a read-write head on the bottom. I have a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Just gonna get in there and very carefully, gently scrub that head. Now, let's see here. I might have to do this right-handed. Doesn't look like there's much coming off there. I did kind of flood it a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty clean. I like to also, even though there's only one head, I like to clean the pad underneath here. At least I'm assuming there's only one head. I'm so used to cleaning Apple II disk drives. Okay. You know, honestly, it looks like there are two heads, so maybe I'm totally wrong. All right. So that feels pretty good. The heads seemed like they were clean already, which they often are. I guess it depends on how much this drive was in service, whether this was drive 1 or drive 2. Okay, so let me go ahead and pop this board back in. Now, as you saw when I disassembled it, these brackets were underneath the board, which is not correct, not good. They're supposed to be, there's a little notch here to slide through. Hopefully I don't break this off. Yeah, these should just fit down through there like that. And then slide. Okay, this one doesn't really want to go down through there. Okay, you can see that. Start walking this down one side and the other. And it should slide forward. There's a bit of shielding on the other. I'm supposed to stand that way. There's a bit of shielding on the underside, but maybe sort of keeping this notch over here on the left side from letting it slide freely. It's okay though. Okay. Does have to clear that. All right. That was a bit of a struggle, but we got there. Yeah. And we just slide it back up to where the lines up with the screw holes. And these can go back in. Sorry for the obscured view. Okay. Reattach these connectors. Oh, you know what? I want to, just for the heck of it, I want to deoxit those before I connect them. Let me grab that deoxit and then I'll be right back. All right, a little deoxit. I really like these needle bottles. However, you seem to have a choice between a needle that's too small and a needle that's too big. I think I currently have the needle that's too big, so likely to get quite a bit of deoxit out of this. But way better than trying to spray it directly from the can, which is just always a mess. All right, that should actually make these a little bit easier to slide on here as well, in addition to hopefully improving the connectivity. Yeah, these are nice and tight, that's for sure. There's one. And just in a very awkward position to kind of get it to motivate it to slide on there. But there we go. Okay, one drive down. Having that board installed correctly makes me feel a lot better. Yeah, let's go grab the other board, or the other drive rather, and get that one done. All right, let's see what we can do about the dirty faceplate on this drive here. I am just going to attack it with some isopropyl, first on a cotton ball. See how this does at taking off some of this, whatever this is. Hopefully this will get the lion's share of it, and then I can go back in with the Q-tip and see whatever else is remaining. These doors have a notorious weak spot, and apparently they often fail, and there are ways to fix them. However, they involve replacing the door, the faceplate here, and I don't want to do that if I can get around it. I think it's great that there are these 3D printed fixes for that issue, but if I can maintain this original, texture and everything, that would be ideal. Okay, let's let that evaporate. Sort of. Just, let me see if I can get at some of these little white spots here. Hopefully they just need some elbow grease. Yeah, whatever that is really on there. There's a bunch of dirt coming off these. Okay, well, I think they just need some persuasion. Must be the lowest tech way of cleaning these. But you go with what works. Okay. That actually looks pretty good. all covered with alcohol right now. Oh yeah. Okay, well that's not too bad. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one, which is, I think, just dirty, really. And that should be good. Hey guys, sorry for the abrupt edit. I just wanted to correct some things I said in this section of this video that I had originally shot. It was a section where I talked a little bit about the drive select and termination setup on the IBM 5150 and on these types of drives in general. And I said a few things that were incorrect. I had just read a forum post which made some of the stuff I was seeing kind of make sense, I thought, but in retrospect I was just not correct, I think. And the main thing that confused me is these drives have a drive select feature, like a lot of drives and even hard drives and CD drives. And that's controlled by this block here, which is basically just a jumper block. And by jumpering these connections, you set which drive is drive 0, which drive is drive 1, etc., up to 4 drives in theory. Though, of course, in the 5150, only 2 internal drives at the most. And what confused me is both of these drives, even though they have very different types of jumper packs, both of them are essentially jumpered to be, as you can see here, they're both essentially jumpered to be drive 1. So the drive select goes 0, 1, 2, 3. And that didn't make sense to me. I wasn't sure why that would be. This drive is also jumpered to be drive 1. It's jumpered in a slightly different way. This is probably I think it probably came both ways from the factory, but this is just a jumper pack. All these are a series of little jumpers, and they go through and they cut all of them. There's only one that's still connected, and this one is also drive 1. And I kept thinking, well, one of them has to be drive 0. And now, related to that is this right here that looks like an IC, but it's really just a pack of resistors. And you'll notice on this drive, nothing is installed here. On this drive, it has the resistor pack. And the idea there is that the last drive in this chain, however many you have, whether it's 1, 2, so on, it has to have this resistor pack in there so the system knows that the chain is terminated there. And now when I received the machine, as I unpacked it, this is the order that the drives were in. Now to me that means this should be drive A, this should be drive B. So in theory this drive should be terminated, and this drive should be drive select 0, and this drive should be drive select 1. Slight complication to that is that this is the cable that it connects to the controller card and into the chain of drives like this, and it has this switch which automatically switches drive 0 and 1 in the drive select. So to me what that means is these should both be set to drive 0, and the last drive in the chain should be terminated. And because of the cable twist, this will now be drive 0, and this will now be drive 1. That seems to be the correct way, and that's how I'm going to set these up. In the original portion of this video that I talked about, the post that I read sort of implied that this should be drive A and this should be drive B, but clearly from the IBM documentation and from what I remember, it should be A, B. So that's the way I'm going to set these up. I haven't yet replaced these jumpers. This one I can just move over. This one I can't actually move it over because it's, the pack is actually cut. I'll probably just put something similar to this in there, or I may just stick a bank of dip switches into each one of these spots. Excuse me. To make it easier to try things out. But anyway, hopefully that explains the drive select and termination setup that I'm going to try out. And if it changes, I will update you then. Hopefully we get to that point in the testing and everything's working other than that. And if that doesn't work, then I'll try different drive selects. But I think that's correct. So I think this should be drive 0, drive 1. I'm going to move this resistor pack over to here. That will terminate the chain. I'll set this to drive 0. I'll set this to drive 0. And because of the cable twist, this will become drive 1. That's my thinking. So anyway, back to the video. Yeah. All right, that just about wraps up the just basic cleaning and inspection of these drives. They should be ready to go. Yeah, that'll be super exciting when I get them installed in the system and actually test them out. Hopefully that's coming up pretty soon here. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Again, comments, suggestions, always appreciated. I really love learning more about this stuff. So yeah, and I will see you on the next one.